Hello everyone. So today is going to be a little bit different. Today is all about fantasy book reviews. I'm going to review the books, not in a whisper, but like a quiet voice, so I would love your feedback on what you think. The first book we have is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Okay, a little bit about this book. So, John Gwynne is a fantasy author. This is his third series, and potentially his best. I really loved it. Reasons why I loved it. I find a lot of fantasy books they're not Norse inspired, that's for sure, which this is. It's about, well, let's read the blurb. Set in a brand new Norse-inspired world and packed with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance, The Shadow of the Gods begins an epic new fantasy saga. Doesn't really say much. Basically, the gods were these beasts, these animals. There was Snacker, the snake. There was Dragon, the wolf god. There was a giant eagle. I don't remember their name, sorry. And the people in the book with the most power are able to harness one of the gods' powers. These people are called Tainted. So it revolves around three characters. There's Orca, Varg, and Elva. They're each tainted, and they each have their own story arc. Varg is probably the underdog. Well, he definitely is. Orca is naturally... she's a warrior goddess. She's really strong. And Elva... I don't remember as much about him. I'm terrible remembering books. All you need to know is on Goodreads, it's I've got it written down, 4.26. There's a lot of action, and the characters are really well written. It's really just incredible characterization. I love that about John Gwynne. You really attach yourself to the characters. So that's my first suggestion. I'm not very good at explaining books too well. What I suggest is just Google it, The Shadow of the Gods, and look up reviews. So for the next book, a lot of people might have heard of it. It's blown up on TikTok. I heard about it through a friend. And this is Fourth Wing. 21-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now, the commanding general, her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, or maybe it's Navari, I'm not sure. Dragon Riders, they're the elite. But when you are smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. It says more about it on the back, but basically it's a classic underdog story. Violet Sorrengail, mental blank. She is brittle. She breaks easily. She's used to going to the hospital to be fixed up. and she wants to be a scribe. She's really smart and a bookworm. But her mother has other ideas, so she starts training to become a dragon rider. What's amazing about this is it's all from her perspective, which can be fun. So you never, with a lot of fantasy, they have so many characters, you just have your favorites that you want the story to go back to, but it always goes around her. It's addictive. It's so addictive. A classic underdog story. Well written. There's plenty of action. She has some great friends in it. There's some really saucy moments, but they work. What else is there to say about it? There's dragons. I really don't want to give anything away. There's dragons, there's action, there's sauce. There's an underdog story, which is my favorite in any fantasy. And yeah, just look it up. I read it in 2 days. Does she get a dragon or not? That's Fourth Wing, guys. Let's read from the first page. Conscription Day is always the deadliest. Maybe that's why the sunrise is especially beautiful this morning, because I know it may be my last. I tighten the straps of my heavy canvas rucksack and trudge up the wide staircase of the stone fortress I call home. My chest heaves with exertion, my lungs burning by the time I reach the stone corridor leading to General Sorrengao's office. That gets 4.66 on Goodreads, which is an incredible rating. You never see anything that high, so full thing. The next book is my favorite book series of all time. You might have seen it recently on Amazon. It's now a TV show. It's The Wheel of Time. This is a 14-book series starting with The Eye of the World. It is a classic, epic fantasy series. So the back of this book doesn't have a description or blurb of it. It just has this. There is a world of light and shadow where good and evil wage eternal war. It is the world of the Wheel of Time, the greatest fantasy epic ever written. I agree. The Wheel of Time turns and ages come and go, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth returns again. But one truth yet remains, and what mortal men forget, the Aes Sedai do not. I'm not very good at remembering how to say the names, or just knowing. So, with this book, there are many, many characters. At the start, it revolves around the three boys, one of which is the Dragon Reborn, and then it moves on to a lot of other characters, many female characters. I would say it's male-driven, and the TV show has tried to give it a twist of being more female-driven, which I don't think is a terrible idea. I love that. I think a lot of older books are a little bit misogynistic and stuff. But the characters themselves in the TV show just don't have the same feel at all of the book series. I think that the TV show, it sucks. So if you have seen the show, if you liked it, read the book. If you didn't like the show, read the book. But only read it if you love epic fantasy, because course, that's 14 books long. Some standouts with this book. It's epic, it's good versus evil. There are major battles on a grand scale, which are incredible. There's magic, there's sword fights. I can hear the background. There's sword fights, there's a lot of intrigue. But what it does so well, it can be a scene like they're in a market. It's cold, they haven't eaten for so long, they just arrived at the city. They're shivering, it's raining, and they just have enough money to buy a meat pie each. And the description of this meat pie of them biting into it, and it's warm, and it's steaming, and the sauce is dripping down their lip, and they're finishing it, and they're licking the crumbs off their fingers, and they want another one. It brings you into the world and makes you want to have a meat pie with them. It's so, what's the word? It transports you. It is my favourite series of all time. And that is one of my top suggestions. So Google that. The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, with the first book being The Eye of the World. The next book, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab or Schwab. I would say Schwab, but I'm not sure. Kel is one of the last travellers, magicians with a rare ability to travel between parallel universes connected by one magical city. There's Grey London, without magic and ruled by the Mad King George III. Red London, where magic is revered and where Kel was raised alongside the heir to the Empire. White London, where people fight to control the remaining magic and magic fights back. And once, there was Black London. What I like about this book is, as much as it's set in London, only one of the Londons is the current London. I don't really like books that are set in our world, because I want to be transported and I want to read for escapism purposes, and it's better when it's not Earth. But this transports you. I would say with this book, what I like about it is there's not too many geographical jumps, so you can get your head around the Londons very quickly and you can picture them. It's easy to read. Kel is a fun character. I think the other character, Lila or Delilah Bard, that gets introduced later is almost better than him. More likable in a way. She's a rogue and she's an adventurer and a rule breaker, a thief, a pirate. Maybe not a murderer, but she certainly knows how to fight. So I don't have much else to say about this than that it's a good fantasy, it's an easy read. Its Goodreads rating is 4.06. Give it a go. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Please leave in the comments whether you